Uh, Third time I'm recording this. I'm trying to wrap my head around everything. Apparently I have to move. Some backstory. Portland is insane. I think everybody knows that at this point. And all of the businesses and people that live near Portland, like Portland proper, are fleeing. So it's making the housing market in the suburbs go a little bit insane. There's some things that are potentially going to be passed and some new OSHA regulations, this Department of Health and Safety and all this stuff, which, while maybe good for certain things, are 100% going to have a negative impact on business. And if there's no business, people aren't going to live anywhere. The place I live here, there's a few little houses around. And when I first moved in, my plan was, hey, I'm going to lease the place and give myself an exit in case something comes up that's beyond my control, so I can bail. So I've had to move a lot of times, and I don't want to move again. So a couple months in, I'm like, yeah, this place seems great. Everything's good. Talk to the owner. We work out some tentative arrangements for a lease to buy or putting some money in or whatever. I'm not going to go into the details of that. By the way, a lot of this video, I'm leaving out a lot of information. Rest assured, I am doing everything I can here. So I got a knock at the door yesterday, and the owner's here, and he's like, hey, by the way, I'm selling all the houses. You have first right of refusal if you want to buy the place. Price is a little over $400,000. He made me an offer if I don't want to buy the place. And when I was originally thinking about buying this place, my upper limit was like $350,000. Add in the electrical issues here and the fact that there's no insulation in the walls. I had someone come out and do an inspection, and they recommended that about $30,000 should be knocked off the price for a couple of things. The house is great, like everything pretty much except for the electrical and the insulation has been done. We've got a new roof, we've got heating and air conditioning that's been done, whole place has been repiped and replumbed. There's been a brand new super expensive drain field installed. I can't swing a mortgage on this place at over $400,000. Not to mention the taxes are, well, they're not cheap anywhere, but it adds a significant amount. I calculate most everything in like monthly costs instead of overall. Don't worry, I'm not an average payment buyer or anything like that, but that adds a monthly equivalent that puts me way outside my price range. I spent a little over 2 years of intermittent searching, but it took me a long time to find this house. Accessible housing is not easy to find. And not accessible housing, I'm talking stuff that will work with minimal modification or without major renovations. Now, this is an old early 60s house. It has narrow hallways, narrow doors. I made it work though, it works great for me. We busted out the door casing on the bathroom, installed some offset hinges, put in some ramps various places. It gets the job done and it's functional. Now I do still bang into the walls quite a bit because there isn't all the space here. And no matter how careful you are, that tends to happen anyways. But accessible housing is not something you can find. Now obviously we have this whole pandemic thing going on and evictions are canceled. So there's that angle. The offer I was made to leave, if I don't want to buy the place, is pretty highly contingent on it happening as soon as possible. And it would cover all my moving costs and everything. Now, you're probably thinking, why are you even considering that? Stay and fight, no one can force you out. Well, here's the thing. I've been learning over the past few years that choosing your battles is really important. And limiting your amount of stress and all that. If I stay here and plant my foot down and say, no, a few things are gonna happen. One, everyone's gonna get cranky. Two, it's gonna cost me a bunch of money. And three, I'm gonna end up having to leave anyways. So the caveat with all this is finding a house that I can move into that meets the qualifications. And I'm not picky. It has to be a house. It has to be wheelchair usable with minimal modification or without major renovation. Don't want to confuse those two. And it needs to have a garage. Take or leave the garage, I just need a place to stay that has space to do stuff. I did some preliminary searching on Zillow and Realtor.com and Craigslist and all those sites. They all have one thing in common. I put in my search terms, those two things, not going over my budget. $2,000 a month is my tops for specifically for rent or lease, because obviously you got utilities and stuff on top of that. And, single level. All the sites have less than 10 results each. Now I did find a place yesterday and look at it. It would actually work out really well. I'm not gonna get my hopes up or anything. The phase going through paperwork and contracts and background checks and all that stuff, 50 to 60% of the time things unravel and fall apart in that stage. So I'm amazed that I found this particular place. Like I said, I'm not gonna talk it up because I don't wanna jinx anything. But if that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to dig a trench and battle everyone. It never fails. Just about the time that I think I'm somewhere that I can stay and it's gonna work out, I have to leave. Now, I'm thinking of some people in particular that try to tell me, hey, and I'm talking IRL here, not people on the internet. You bring this on yourself. You cause all these problems. Yes, I caused the coronavirus, and I caused all the hardships that are forcing people to sell all of their properties. Sorry, I couldn't leave that part out. This has nothing to do with me. It's just one of those things that happens. So I have to ask myself, assuming I can find a place, should I stay and battle everyone and cause problems and cause a bunch of stress and just ongoing things that every day I have to wake up and think, I've got to deal with this? Or should I just bail? Take the offer, which is a really good one, and just get out. I'm leaning towards GTFO. The other option would be to find an investment company that's interested in buying this place with me already as a tenant, and maybe the other properties here as well. That's actually more common than you would think. So I'm talking to some realtors on a couple different fronts. One, trying to find me places to live or lease or whatever. And also saying, hey, there's multiple properties here that already have tenants that you could just swoop in and start making money on. Especially in this area. The pricing is going nuts. Houses around here, like mid 600s, high 600s, some over 700,000 are what they're currently selling for. And I'm not offended by the price that I was given for this place that's just over 400,000. I mean, all things considered, it's not that bad for everything else that's going on and what is here and everything. I just can't make it happen. Originally, my upper limit was around 350,000 when I moved into this place almost 2 years ago. And you can't predict some of this stuff. So I'm going to continue looking. I'm not going to end up on the street. I mean, worst case scenario, I can just claim Rona and I won't have to go anywhere. But it may not be in my control if I can't find a place. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's the reality of this spinning. It's the reality of the situation. yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, oh, stay and fight it, you know, like, you, blah, 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 whatever, and all this. And I understand that argument. But again, I think moving again is going to be less of a hassle and mental stress and everything than trying to stand my ground and ultimately getting removed anyways. I'm just going to keep it simple, I think. That's what's going on. Don't worry, I'm still going to make videos. But the coronavirus strikes again. Nothing against the owners of this property, seriously, like, I understand. Things happen, and you gotta do what you gotta do. It just sucks when that affects a bunch of other people, but at the same time, I'm not mad. I understand. Like, I get it. I'm trying to think if there's ways I could have prevented this, but like, I don't think so. And here's the other thing. I don't think it's necessarily a good idea to buy a house right now anywhere in the metro area or even outlying areas. I mean, I've been searching with like an 80-mile radius around Portland. And, well, okay. If you want to go near downtown or like North Portland, Northeast Portland, you can get a sweet 2,700 square foot house for $1,300 a month. That's right in the riot zone. Or you can get a nice little 2-bedroom bungalow with a 2-car garage on a half-acre lot for $750 a month. So yes, technically, there are inexpensive options. But to interrupt myself for a second, I am definitely planning on doing whatever I can to stay here. That is the #1 goal. I just don't know if that's possible, so I'm treating this worst case scenario so that, you know, I'm prepared in case the inevitable happens and I do actually have to leave. So just wanted to interject that real quick. Coping mechanisms as per usual, trying to stay objective and a little bit of humor, and also staying busy. But I'm gonna call that good for now. I need to get back to work, making phone calls and talking to people and searching for potential places to live. If someone happens to swoop in and buy this place and I can stay, awesome. I'm gonna pretend that is not gonna happen. And I'm also gonna pretend that this place I saw yesterday will not work out. And I'm gonna keep moving forward and trying to do what I need to take care of stuff. If either one of those things happens, great, I'll deal with it. I'm kind of an autopilot right now, or I'll take it, you know, that'll be great. And we can just stop doing everything else. But at this point, I don't think I can stay here. And it's out of my hands. I'm gonna fire up the barbecue and make some food, I think. By the way, the other channel, my Shoes on Fire channel, people ask that, I've got that channel like the year YouTube launched. It's just my old original channel, and I'll be streaming on there randomly over the next few days. No warning or anything, it just happens. That's where I post other stuff that doesn't really fit with the motif of this channel, so that's why that exists. But check that out, link is always down below for that. And yeah, we can chat over there. We're still doing the Thursday live streams on this channel, but for now, I gotta get to work. Yeah. I'll see you soon.